Hello friends, today we will study the educational philosophies of J. Krishnamurti. J. Krishnamurti's full name is Jiddu Krishnamurti. Jiddu Krishnamurti is very famous and very important for NET. He was born on 12th of May in 1895. And he died on 17th of February 1986. He was a philosopher and writer of spiritual subjects and he was orator too. He was the specialist of psychological evolution. He has talked a lot about how to bring positive change in society. So he always stressed on the bringing change in society, and for which he stressed on mental revolution, psychological revolution. He was the predecessor of psychological revolution, and he said that such revolution is not possible through outside reasons. It can take place from inside a person. So let us see his views on education. So we will start now. So it is saying, there is no end to education. It is not that you read a book and pass an examination and finish with education. He said education is endless. It is continuous. It is not that you read a book and pass an examination and your education has finished. No, you have to go on studying throughout the life, the whole of life, from the moment you are born to the moment you die. It is a process of learning. So we all know that learning is a lifelong process. So it is not bound inside a boundary of a school or college or an institution. You get learning from outside the school also. So we know that types of learning, formal and informal. So J. Krishnamurti said about that. J. Krishnamurti was a victim of educational system that prevailed to this day. When he got admission in a school, his teacher dismissed him as a vacant little boy. Vacant little boy, what does it mean? Vacant means he was not able to memorize the facts. He was not a crammer. He was not able to mug up the facts which teachers told in the class. So the teacher has dismissed him as a vacant little boy because his brain is vacant. He is not able to memorize. Who could not memorize important facts? That vacant little boy went on to set a man unconditionally free. So he was of the opinion that man should be left unconditionally free from dogmas, all types of dogmas, fears, conditioning. So man should not be conditioned to respond to a particular event as people want or as the teacher have conditioned them to respond. So man is unconditionally free from dogmas, fears, conditioning, power structures, and as he used to say, all the rest of it. But he wanted to say that man is free and leave him free so that he can learn himself. His time is, here it is written 11th May, somewhere it is written 12th May. So 11 or 12, both can It has to be verified, matter of verification, whether it is 11th May or 12th May. So it is, I leave it to you people to verify and learn. So his time is 11th or 12th May 1895 to 17th February 1986. He was a philosopher, speaker and writer. In his early life, he was groomed to be the new world teacher, but later rejected his mantle and withdrew from the theosophic organization behind it. His interest included psychological revolution, the nature of mind. So he stressed much on psychology, mental state, nature of mind, meditation, inquiry, human relationship, and bringing about radical change in the society. So how radical change can be brought in society? For this he stressed the need for a revolution in the psyche of every human being. So he wanted to change the psyche of every human being, mental state of every human being. He wanted to change and emphasize that such revolution cannot be brought about by external entity, be it religious, political or social. He was of the opinion that any external entity, whether it is religious, highest religious authority or political authority or social structure cannot bring revolution. It is because it is internal. A human being has to bring it by himself, by his inner self. He was very much influenced by Theosophical Society. Then he came in, under the influence of Annie Besant also. Krishnamurti was born in South India and in what is now the modern day Madanpalli of Andhra Pradesh. Modern time the place is known as Madanpalli of Andhra Pradesh. He wrote many books, among them the popular books are The First and Last Freedom, The Only Revolution and Krishnamurti's Notebook. It is very famous, so you have to remember the names written by him. It may be asked in the examination. The First and Last Freedom, The Only Revolution and Krishnamurti's Notebook. Many of his talks and discussions have been published. His last public talk, he was used to participate in talks, public talks, and people listen him. So his talks were very famous. His last public talk was in Madras, India in January 1986, a month before his death at his home in Ojai, California. He died at Ojai in California. The purpose and the aim. The purpose, the aim and drive of these schools is to equip the child with most excellent technological proficiency so that students function with clarity and efficiency in the modern world. He said that the aim of the modern school is to fill the child with technology, and child becomes technologically proficient so that he can work efficiently in modern world. A more important purpose, he thought that J. Krishnamurti was of the opinion that it is more important to create a right climate and environment so that child may develop fully as a complete human being. This means giving a child opportunity to flower in goodness. He was more stressing on goodness, not technological knowledge or not on technological proficiency. So he wants the child to be developed in goodness so that he or she is rightly related to people, things and ideas to the whole of life. So he wants children to become a good person with goodness so that they can become a good citizen or good people. To live is to be related. There is no right relationship to anything. There is no right feeling for beauty, a response to nature, to music, art and highly developed aesthetic sense. So Krishnamurti was in favor of promoting and developing the aesthetic sense among the children so that they can appreciate the nature or music or art and they have an appreciation for beauty. So he don't want men to become machine-like or technology oriented. He said that I think it is fairly clear that competitive education and development of students in that process are very destructive. We must be very clear in ourselves what we want, clear that human being must be total human being, not just a technological human being. He was against technological human being. He was against the teaching of too much technology in the schools or colleges. So he said first develop a man as a good human being. If we concentrate very much on examinations or technological information or making a child clever, proficient in acquiring knowledge, while we neglect the other side. When we stress more on technological information and knowledge, then we ignore the side of becoming a good human being of a child. So it is a one-sided development of human being. So child will grow up into a one-sided human being. When we talk about a total human being, we mean not only a human being with inward understanding, with a capacity to explore, to examine his inward state. So a person or a student has to understand his inward state, what type of feeling he has in his heart, and the capacity of going beyond that, but also someone who is good in what he does outwardly. So he wants that children should be good from inward and outward both. The two must go together. That is the real issue in education, to see when the child leaves the school, he is well established in goodness, both outwardly and inwardly. So he stressed much upon goodness from inward and outward. Inward means by heart, and outwardly in behavior also he should show his goodness. Aims of education. According to J. Krishnamurti, the aims of education was to educate students so that they are able to explore both the world and their inner being. So, aims of education was to emphasize on the inward and outward development of the child. Second one is to inculcate a love for nature and respect for all forms of life. So, love for nature so that he has to be developed. For this, teachers should try to teach the student in natural surroundings so that he can inculcate love for nature and respect for all forms of life, whether it is human being or it is plant or it is animal. So the child has respect for nature so that he will supply. Has to be developed. For this or try to teach the student in natural surroundings so that he can inculcate love for nature and respect for all forms of life, whether it is
or teaching
human being or it is plant or it is animal. So we have all child forms of life and accuracy of all forms of life, all why should we there, why teaching, why not on particular subject or particular society could only be done if there is right education in an atmosphere. They study in an atmosphere of freedom, without fear, without authority. Then intelligence and goodness can be nurtured. So they will become a good and intelligent pupil. So it is important that education should impact awaken intelligence, not simply reduce program marking or trade monkey as Krishnamurti put it. So Krishnamurti was of the opinion that program marking or technology trained students whose knowledge is limited and they are encouraged to cram the facts or figures. So he compared them as a program machine or trained monkey. So he Krishnamurti wanted that children should not be like this, but they should have their awakening intelligence. They should ask, they should inquire, they should be inquisitive. So education therefore cannot be only about reading and learning from books, but about the whole of life and should prepare students to meet the challenges of living in a social and complex world. So life learning should be there. Learning about life, learning about the life challenges should be there. The students, Krishnamurti said that what education normally does is to prepare students to fit in a particular frame of pattern. That is the movement in predetermined group, and this is what society calls entering life. With such an education, the student leads life. So when after studying, the student enters the life. So then we enter the life like a little river meeting the vast sea. So such education or present education is preparing the students like a little river and who merges in vastly and its existence is nowhere. So it has no recognition in the vast sea of water or Indian vast sea is compared as a big wall. So however such an education does not necessarily prepare the student to meet the psychological challenges and physical vicissitudes of life. So here whatever technology or whatever he has learned from cramming and whatever subject he has been taught and under fear, he is not able to meet the psychological challenges and physical challenges of life. So his learning, his knowledge doesn't help him to face the challenges of life. Whether within an educational institution or outside it, Krishnamurti wanted to bring about a new human being with revolutionary mind. So he has stressed, emphasized on a new human being, creation of new human being with a revolutionary mind, revolt, according to Krishnamurti, is of two kinds. First is violent revolt, which is mere reaction. First is only reaction, and second is intelligent revolt. So, violent revolt is reaction, mere reaction, and there is intelligent revolt, so which is not reaction but arises through self-knowledge. So intelligent revolt is the result of or outcome of self-knowledge, and violent revolt is reaction to any threat. So he wants revolutionary mind war, and revolution should be intelligent revolt. Revolt. The function of education is to create human beings who are integrated and therefore intelligent. Great intelligence is required to discover what is true. Intelligence is not a book knowledge. Yes, we all know that intelligence cannot be acquired through book. You may read many philosophies and yet not know the bliss of thinking that can exist only when the mind and heart begin to free themselves from conflict through constant awareness. So he wants that heart and mind should be free from the conflict of inward conflict and outward conflict, both. So conflict taking place inside the heart or mind of a person, and conflict from taking place outside his mind. Both conflicts affect the human being. So human being should be free from such conflict so that the ecstasy of life will come, which is true. If it is sometimes presumed that K. Krishnamurti was totally against the acquisition of knowledge. It is not true. He was not against acquiring knowledge. What he wanted was that knowledge should have a place in life. He said that knowledge should have place in life, but should not dominate it. So not all knowledge is not everything. He wanted every child to be academically and technologically proficient. He said that children should be proficient. Simultaneously, to develop other aspects of humanity and goodness. So his stress was more on humanity and goodness along with academic development and technological proficiency. So he was not against the education. Primary aim of the school was, according to Krishnamurti, he says that building of knowledge, we take refuge in it and feel that without it we would be lost. So he says the knowledge is essential to learn livelihood, but it is not necessary to find God or to know oneself. So in order to know oneself, knowledge is not necessary. And to reach or to find God, knowledge is not required. Knowledge nourishes ego. He says knowledge is that which nourishes the ego. For the ego cannot be without some form of parasitical dependence. The scientist uses this knowledge to treat his vanity. He says knowledge creates or nurtures ego, and ego depends on something. So he said that scientists use his knowledge to feed his vanity, to feel that he is somebody, to prove himself. So does the public, so does the teacher, so do the parents, and so do the gurus. They all want to be somebody in this world. So somebody who is somebody, somebody popular, somebody very famous, somebody very knowledgeable, somebody very big. So he adds that knowledge without love is destructive. He says knowledge should be accompanied with love, otherwise it will be ego, and ego is dangerous. The primary aim of a school would seem to be create a good human being. So school should be such that it create good human being. Knowledge may be required to function in the world, but it is a secondary aim. Secondary aim. First aim is goodness, and secondary aim is knowledge. Education is essentially the art of learning, not only from books. Krishnamurti said that education is the art of learning, not only from books but from the whole movement of life. So he stays much more on informal education, learning about nature of the intellect, its dominance, its activities, its vast capacities, its destructive power. Learning it not from the book but from the observation of the world. So he has given stress on observation whether his method of teaching was very much giving very much importance to observation. So without breath, learning is not from book but from observation of the world. So he always says to observe the world about you without theories, without prejudices and without values. He has written such lines in his book Letters to the Schools. Schooling without competition and comparison. In school, what happened? We compare students from one class to other, one student to other. So what is that? Is it healthy? No, comparison on the student is never healthy. So he said that when A is compared to B, who is clever, bright and assertive, that very comparison destroys it. So when you compare two boys, then who is brighter? And who is more brighter and one who is not up to his level, that he is destroyed. His confidence level seconds. So this destruction takes the form of competition. And competition starts of imitation and conformity to the partner set by B. This breeds antagonism, jealousy, anxiety, even fear. So comparison leads to negative feelings and becomes the condition in which A lives for the rest of life. Always measuring, always comparing psychologically and physically. So goodness cannot flourish in such atmosphere where there is any kind of competitiveness. So school, when you compare, schooling is comparing, he said, and comparing is destructive because goodness cannot flourish when there is competitiveness. Method of teaching. In Jesus these methods of teaching were learning through observation. Learning is pure observation. He considers learning as observation which is not continuous and which then becomes memory. So by observation and memory, because when we don't observe, that comes to what we have observed that takes place in our memory, but observation from moment to moment, not only of the things outside you, but also that which is happening inwardly. So observation not outwardly only, inward observation is also there. Introspection is there to observe without the observer. So observe within oneself is without observer. Look not with your mind but also with your eyes. Then you find out that outside and is inside. The observer is observed. So when you are observing outside, then you are observer and we, when you are observing inside, then the observer is observed. So you become observed. And when you are observing outside, you are the observer. Freedom and order. If you want to be free, you have to find for yourself what is to be orderly, what is to be punctual. So Freedom is associated with punctuality, kindness, generosity, and fearlessness. So the discovery of all that is discipline. Freedom is not from something or avoidance of constraint. It has no opposite. It is of itself per se. Freedom, there is no opposite of freedom. Clarity of perception is freedom from the self. Flowering of goodness in all our relationships is possible only freedom. So freedom gives you all the good qualities. He employs talk and dialogue method with great effect as didactic devices to communicate the most obscure and complex ideas. So he said in order to clarify the complex ideas, talk method and dialogue method. This method is to unlock the commonly kept beliefs through a form of Socratic dialogue. Socratic dialogue method was question answer method was also there in the Krishnamurti's philosophy also raising a question, assuming the role of a skeptic, testing received wisdom with reference to instances, so illustrations, instances, counter instances, analogies, illustrations, ultimately leading to inquiry to the life. So these were the methods of the Krishnamurti, method of evolution, method of freedom, method of talk and dialogue, question answer method, raising a question, testing, and illustration and instances, community service and extracurricular activities are the part of the students' schooling as are discussions, assemblies and club meetings. So it comes community services and extracurricular activities were also stressed in this philosophy. What was the role of teacher according to the Krishnamurti? The right kind of education begins with the educator who must understand himself and be free from established pattern of thought. So he says whatever the teachers are assumed to be strict and disciplinarian for what he that he imparts to teachers should be free from established pattern of thought. If he has not been rightly educated, he said that teacher should be rightly educated. What can he teach except the same mechanical knowledge on which he himself has been taught us? So, if teacher is not rightly educated, what will he do? He will teach the students in same mechanical way in which he has been taught. So, our problem is not to so much the child, but the teacher. So he stress more on the role of teacher, the educator who needs educating much more than the pupil. So teacher should be properly educated to teach the students and to educate the educator is far difficult. To educate the educator or to educate the teacher is more difficult than to educate the child because educator is already fixed and fixed, his thoughts are fixed, he merely functions in a routine, he comes in a routine way, follow the timetable, and he is not concerned with the thought process, with the cultivation of intelligence. So teachers should be educated in proper way. What are the subjects? So in Vibhuti Smriti, Rishi Valley School is very famous, which works on the according to the thoughts and philosophies of Vibhu Krishnamurti. So they taught the subjects language, natural science, all subjects are being taught in these days, but that time craft, carpentry, music, poetry, psychology, art was also art to fine arts. Taught so we cultivate the soft feelings, goodness, and freedom, discipline. All teachers deal with the question of discipline all the time. Most teachers think discipline is not possible without separation and punishment. Means successful schools borrow tactics from the army to make students to toe the line. So it has been assumed that many teachers still today they believe that there should be separation and punishment to make student discipline. So, but due to this Murthy was of the opinion that students will not grow in such an environment in strict discipline. There is a designer who uses special modes to direct the trees to grow into furniture and lampshades and other such wonderful stuff. Forcing discipline on students is quite similar to imposing molds on a tree. So suppose when the example has been given, designer, what he does, he puts molds on the tree so that he will grow in the same way in which he wants to make the furniture. So the teachers want students in similar way to mold by giving them in a mold so that they become a disciplined child. What teacher wants to forcing discipline in such that it is not possible. Intelligence brings discipline. Real discipline comes. So Krishnamurti was of the opinion that intelligence brings real discipline. A discipline without separation. So he said discipline, there should be no separation, there should be no force. Intelligence can only flourish in freedom. So if freedom is given, people will become intelligent, and intelligence will bring discipline. Intelligence is not being clever, being able to memorize great facts, recite from scriptures. It is not intelligence. Intelligence is not cramming, not memorizing facts, or not reading the scriptures. So intelligence is freedom and do the work in an effective way. You are given freedom, you can do work in very decent way, and discipline will automatically come. Krishnamurti strongly opposes the implement of military training and education. He was against military training in education. According to him, the training associated with education constrains the integration between humans. Since military training equals death and destruction, he was so against it that military training is equal to death and destruction, regimentation of minds and patriotism and so on. So he thought the military training washes the brains of the students and fills the mind with patriotism and regimentation. So teachers or educators are human beings. Their function is to help the students to learn not only this or that subject, but to understand the whole activity of learning, not only to gather information about subject. What we do today, we gather informations, so many information about the various subjects, but primarily to be complete human beings. So we feel that more stress in Krishnamurti's educational philosophy is to make students a complete human being full of goodness, intelligence, freedom, and good person from inward and outward. These schools are not merely centers of learning, they must be centers of goodness and bring about a religious mind. As teachers, it is our duty that we do not pass teachers do not pass their anxieties, ambitions, greeds and fears to students. If we continue to equate success with money and power, then we will continue to see the wrong world. So, we will continue to be white-collar criminals who have no accountability for relationship to the planet. So people will become selfish, they will think of themselves only, they will suffer, they will be fearful. So they will become so ambitious that competition will, feeling of competition will come, and it will exploit the weak sections of the society, weak students of the schools, and create many errors. So present education leads to acquire so many degrees to earn the livelihood and to acquire the power. So it is modern education is based on fear, and when people are fearful, they are not intelligent. So people should be intelligent. They should be fearless.